Fox anchor Steve Doocy has experienced plenty of highs, but he hasn't escaped the lows. From the sudden loss of his parents to his wife's serious illness, he's no stranger to hard times. On Christmas morning 1997, Doocy got one of those calls no one wants to get. His sister called. Their mother, Joanne, was dead. He'd just talked to his mom 8 hours earlier. Doocy always called her on Christmas Eve so she could walk him through her gravy recipe. By then, he was pretty good at whipping up Joanne's famous gravy, but the tradition had begun back when he was in college, decades earlier. Doocy wrote, "I was just using it as an excuse to call and show her that even though I was 40 years old, a son always needs his mother." Since her death, Doocy has been asking God for signs that his mother's watching over him. The first one came at her funeral, where he was the lector. He noticed a bouquet of daisies on the altar, the flowers Joanne had chosen for her wedding, and next to it was a pack of McCormick gravy mix. Doocy wrote, "I got goosebumps." The death of Doocy's mother left a big hole in the family. In an effort to heal, he got closer to his father, Jim Doocy, making sure to call him at least once a day. In the Simply Happy cookbook, Doocy wrote, "It just felt good to touch base because we both knew that someday one of us would not be around to pick up the phone." Doocy's parents had plane tickets to Hawaii when she died, and Steve had wanted to take his dad on a trip ever since. So when Jim decided he'd like to visit Ireland to trace his family roots, and that he wanted his brother Phil to come along, Steve was totally up for it, and off they went. Unfortunately, the family roots part of the trip was a bust. The Doocy family records were destroyed in the 1922 fire during the Civil War. But even though they didn't get what they were looking for in Ireland, they found something better. Doocy reflected, "It was the best week I ever had with my father." After that, father and son maintained and even strengthened their relationship, with Steve honoring Jim when he was named Distinguished Kansan of the Year in early 2014. That was the last time he saw his father. 2 days later, his sister called to tell him Jim had suffered a burst abdominal aortic aneurysm. He died on February 8, 2014. Steve recalled his utter shock, writing, "He hadn't even been sick." Not long after, Steve and his wife Kathy were getting ready for a Florida beach vacation when their world came crashing down. Amid their preparations, they went to get the prescriptions for their sunglasses checked. It was meant to be a routine visit to the eye doctor, but things didn't go as planned. Instead, the doctor saw a freckle in one of Kathy's eyes and told her to return in a few months. The doctor was a lot more worried this time around and called in a specialist. It didn't look good. The specialist urged Kathy to go to Will's Eye Hospital in Philadelphia. When Kathy asked when, the doctor was blunt, saying, "Right now." Kathy was diagnosed with ocular melanoma, a rare and aggressive type of eye cancer. She had radiation treatment, but there were concerns that the cancer would spread to her lungs and liver. It was during that time that Kathy and Steve decided to write a cookbook. Kathy was afraid she didn't have long to live, and she wanted her children to be able to recreate their favorite meals if she didn't make it.
The only thing I could really think of that I needed to do was to get my recipes together so that the kids would always have their happy memories.
The good news is that Kathy will be making her kids' favorite dishes for years to come. After 2 years of treatment, she was declared cancer-free.